Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. So I wanted to come on here and talk about the energies and that came through on the 9th. And so what's interesting is I wasn't honed in on that day at all. Like I didn't even register like, oh, 9/9 portal, let's pay attention. But man, did I feel a shift in the energy, which is interesting, when you're not anticipating it, but it's still like, hey, where you're like, wow, something really shifted today. So what I had been feeling was just a lot of movement in the energy. So a lot that was releasing, a lot that was coming in, a lot that was rearranging, and there was just this sort of like busyness, this energetic busyness. And so and what it felt like to me was a phase of integration and stabilization. Like we were up leveling and we were acclimating to the changes in our lives and to the new energies that were coming in and all this. And so I'm so merged with the new energy now that it's a little bit hard to feel into what it was before, but I just felt like recapping because for the sake of contrast. So I'm going to try to feel into it a little bit, but it's, to me, it felt like a phase of integration, right? So I think I just said that, but to the point where I wasn't really interfacing with any of my people, my main people that I powwow with, and so we swapped files and we, something just flew. I don't know what that was. It was big and I don't know what that was. Interesting. Anyway, we swap files, we share codes, and we get downloads from each other in channels, so it was kind of like we're weaving the energy and anchoring, but there was none of that. And it was just, with several people that I do that with, it was just really, really quiet. I wasn't available to that, but neither were they. We were just like really in our own space, like really just like stabilizing, like steadying ourselves in this energy. If I were to define it, what it felt like. So anyway, then on the 9th, whatever day that was, and again, I didn't even know it was the 9th, it's like all of a sudden it felt like all of this kind of energy and this like subtle movement just like went like this. Like it just settled. It was just all of a sudden clear. And I was even noticing so it could be the example of like we're working on certain things, or we have certain things in the lineup, and okay, I gotta get this project and this project, and I gotta get rid of this, and now this is happening. All of a sudden it's like I started being like, oh, but I could do this, or maybe I'll do this differently. It's like, it's like we reached a certain level and then a new level could come in. That's what it felt like. And so I ended up just synchronistically communing with 2 or 3 of my people, my main people, and and sharing our stories. And then, but then the message was so much about grounding. And I had noticed that earlier in the week too. One of the new things that was coming up for me is like I could not get enough of nature, and I'm always like that. I've been like that since I was a little girl, but I think I went to the forest 3 times last week, or 3 times in the last 7-day period. And, of course, it's gorgeous up there now because it's cooler, and, it's like, you don't have to worry about rain. Not that I mind that either, but, lots of flowers, and just really, really green as well from the monsoon. And so, but still, it's like I was also called, I sit out with my trees at night before bed, and I was called to go out in the morning, and like sun gaze, which I love to do, but just getting up early enough to do that, feed on the earth, like so much with nature. And so I'm seeing synchronicities with that with others too, where there's just like this loud, like my daughter this morning, she just started a job with our neighbor across the street, and she's gardening for him, and she's watering his gardens, and so there it is again. It's like the earthing. So what I feel is that we've reached these higher energies, these big waves that have come in just recently through Lionsgate, and then that one that happened 2 weekends ago that I was talking about in the last reading, that Amanda Lawrence and Laura Hazel and probably others, a lot of us felt it come in, this deep, deep anchoring of this like love energy, this like self-acceptance, very feminine, unifying energy coming in, and now we're anchoring it, so that's kind of how those conversations were with my my sisters, my soul sisters, where we were anchoring it. We were anchoring it on. We all felt the call to anchor into the earth, anchor it down, anchor it down, anchor it down. And so the other thing that I had been feeling was this sort of, I described it in one of the personal readings, like there was like this, I felt this like sphere over here, it was over to I don't know what it is in the camera, but over to my right. It was always over to my right, and it was like sort of otherworldly and kind of like nebulous and almost like an Andara, if you've ever seen an Andara crystal. Oh, that never works in the camera, but they're heliocentric, so when the light shines on them, they just look like watery. They look like oil, like colored oil, like what you would think higher dimensional colors were like. So anyway, that kind of thing, just this thing that was over here, and I was relating to it, and I knew it was like my dream basket, or like a reflection of me, a higher version of me, and it was it was over here, and I could tell that it was like coming in. I could tell that I was relating to it and like having information from it, and it was about the timeline. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm connected with my higher self. It was about what was coming in. It was like the packet that was landing, like it was landing, and I was seeing it, and well, now all of a sudden I don't feel it anymore. But the reason why is because I'm in it. We're in it. So are you feeling this? Like just with the shift where all of a sudden I'm like, wait, where's that thing? Where's the dream? Where's the thing that I was kind of leaning into? Like where is it, and why do I feel so different? It's like we're walking it. We're walking it forward. And so I noticed that in sessions. I was talking about that a couple of readings ago, where stuff will clear and then the things will restabilize. So that's where we were at. We're really in that kind of like restabilizing thing. And then once they stabilize, what has been hanging in the field, just waiting for that right moment, waiting for you to be ready to receive it, comes in. So I'm feeling it real viscerally just in my life. It's like, oh, it's in, because that's how it is in sessions. Like I'll see, once everything clears and settles, then I'll see this thing that's usually above their third eye, and it's up on this upper level, where for me it's like their soul blueprint, their scroll, the scroll of this life, their mission, their higher aspects, whatever, it's in there. And so usually there's some kind of image that captures the energy of it, of what's coming in, the energy, like the codes, the information packet that they need for what's coming in their lives. It's just the energy of that comes in, and so then it'll come in the body, and then all of a sudden it's not out there anymore. It's in here. So it's very much the same. And so I know I keep talking about this in the readings, but it's like it's just how energy works, right? So I was talking about those 3 phases. So now we're in that last one where we're kind of in that which was waiting. Which was waiting to come in. We cleared enough to be ready for it. We stabilized enough where it had a solid platform. So now our energetic signature is different. It's different because we're different. Our energy is running differently. Our lives are running differently because we are. So like even the energy emitting from our homes, or emitting from our offerings, or even our Facebook posts, whatever. It's like our energy is different, so we have a different point of attraction. So now we're pulling in different things, right? So now's the time where we're starting to notice. We're going to start noticing like new dreams, new habits, new rituals, just getting the spark of ideas to be like, oh, I'm going to do this. So it just keeps changing and changing and changing, and we kept updating and rippling into more and more alignment with the larger version of ourselves on the other side of the trauma and the conditioning. So again, a lot of us doing huge body purges, but also emotional purges and purges of patterns, addictive patterns, that type of thing, and all for the sake of being able to receive more of ourselves. So this is coming out in the last reading. So, all right, there's my recap and a little bit of feeling into the energies, the new energies that I'm feeling. So let's see what comes up around these energies and what we can find out. It's really hot in here. Whew. Okay. Be peace. I got this card this morning too, because I was pulled just a few cards just to get a feel for the energy, and I shuffled. It's not. So this is the energy, be peace, and the way it came through for me this morning was just like, it's okay, like just be peace. Like you've got it. You have enough of a platform, like that stabilization that we've had. It's like there's still pieces to be done. It's not like we're complete with those projects or those things that we were working on or the clearing out of those things. It's like there's still more to be done, but there's enough of a stabilization. It's like we put out the call for health and wellness and alignment loud enough that it's like we're secure now, and it's like just okay, we're like, oh yeah, it was like, so the way it was coming through for me this morning was like a Vesica Pisces. So we had this part of the journey, and I'm getting chills, where it was like all the trauma, all the trials, all the grist for the mill that cracked us open to the fact that there's more, right? The bubble, the more, of course, the bubble, representing things that are coming in immediately, or the bigger bubble, the bubble holds all of the expanded selves that we're stepping into, right? And then, it'll be like the next step is, shows up, but the bubble still holds it all, right? So here's the bubble of that expanded self. Here's the part of us that were asleep that needed all those crunches to remember why we're here, right? So right now we're in that Vesica Pisces where this side and this side are overlapping, they're overlapping. So you have a bit of the past and a bit of the future, but it's like structured water, the higher frequency, the higher frequency, the frequencies that's the most organized, that's the most organic, that is the most harmonized with the truth of reality and with all that is, trumps. So we're in this phase where the dark, the unconscious, the unconscious, the before we were awakened, and everything that came from that, the traumas, the self-abandonment, the betrayal. So we were talking about that a lot last week. A lot of us were having like a life review of all those abandonments come up. And then being cleared, and well, they're being cleared because we are in that Vesica Pisces, where the two spheres cross, and then that place in the center, that place where things dissolve. So there's a lot of dissolving, and there's peace in that, where it's like you've reached it, you've reached that point, you've reached that level of mastery, you've been on this journey long enough, and there's enough energies assisting us that are helping us as well, helping us to raise in consciousness to the point where things are falling away. They're falling away. They're dissolving in the light of our higher, the truth, our higher aspects, the truth of who we are. The old stuff is leaving. So I'm noticing that I've had a lot of energy sessions recently, a lot. And so what I'm feeling, I always feel it in the occipital, where people are clearing, and you can feel from the quality of energy, or I can feel from the quality of energy, if it's like the beginning of a clearing of the ancestral early childhood stuff, or the end. And so people are like way back in it, where they're wrapping up, they're getting to the dregs, because again, these energies. And that was my dryer. So I was like wondering what it was going to highlight. That's confirmation. It's like because we can be like, oh really, oh God, there's so much. How are we ever going to get to? No, we are. We're getting to the dregs of its leaving, and why that Vesica Pisces, where again the light quotient that we've stabilized in is the structured water that's dissolving the old, dissolving the past. It's leaving. I'm feeling it in sessions. It's leaving. It's leaving. It's so exciting. It's almost mind-blowing where, depending on how old you are, where you're like, oh my gosh, you've been at it kind of a long time, right? And yet this is the shift of the ages. And again, watching the cycles and the prophecies, and knowing and knowing the history, knowing galactic history, knowing where we're at now at this point in evolution. It's really, really exciting. So, okay, the Hermit, interesting. Oh, I think I got this card, but different deck, but this card too, the Hermit, and that's what I was talking about as well. Like we've done that work where we have awakened, like see this light. It's like, you went deep enough within, you had to, because those crunches just brought you to your knees, or you lost your identity, or you lost your mind, or you lost your health, or you lost your faith in humanity and yourself and life and the world. And, you had to go so deep inside of yourself that you sparked. And it's that spark of your own soul light that creates the platform where now you can be at peace, and you can move forward because you've come home to yourself. And again, there's an honoring of the trials and an honoring of all the things we've had to go through for that, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So and then when we have that energy of gratitude, we can release them. We can release them with love and big picture, where everything is in service to this awakening, to this shift that we're going through. And so nothing's an aberration, and again, that divine feminine energy that embraces everything. Everything is embraced. The trials, the ways we were persecuted, whatever it is, because in another lifetime we were persecuting, so that's another thing I see in sessions. The left knee for me is always where I feel the persecution lifetimes leaving, and the right, or timelines, depending on, because there's really no time, but it's just easier to say lifetimes. But anyway, the right knee being where you were the persecutor, in the dark ages, where we had no choice, you had to do it to survive, or you just didn't have a connection to the, to your higher. It was just too dense. The energy was too dense. So we've all played both sides. So, just a lot of that collapsing. That's a lot of the Vesica Pisces as well. It's like, oh, hey, we're friends here. In this center, it's all in service. It's all okay. It's all, we've played all of it. We are all of it. We're all of it. The law of one. I hate to sound cliche, but it does condense down to that. We have been and are all. We have been and are all. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to put these back in because they just fell out really messy. All right, let me center myself. And so let's get another card. Where do we want to go next? There's something else I was thinking about talking about, but I'm going to see if the cards lead me to it. So the Knight of Swords, so fast movement, exactly. And that was what was coming up in the sessions too. Because I kept being guided to say to people, you're closer than you think. You're closer than you think to, because we're wrapping stuff up. We're still wrapping stuff up, and there's the 9. The 9 portal. It's like you're in the 9 of wands. You're almost through. Persevere. You're almost through. Like you're stable enough. You've stabilized enough that you can be at peace. You don't have to worry. You don't have to go through like huge things or huge loss, or maybe some people do, but the collective that I'm reading for is the one that I'm a part of, or maybe a little, like around that area, right? Maybe some people, it's like they haven't done the grist and the awakening work yet, and then they'll have to as well. And so, but I'm reading for those of us that went first to be able to hold space for those people, so, and if you're watching, then that's you. And so anyway, we can be at peace. We don't have to worry about like, oh gosh, I can't move forward because, well, I can, but I'll just expect the other shoe to drop. And this isn't really the fruition of my dreams at this point. It's just going to be another test. It's going to be, and if it is fine, and that's part of this space too. You're at peace with it because you understand it. Again, you understand the point of the crunches. You understand the point of both sides of the yin and the yang. This is a world of duality, and so putting them all together, you're not rejecting any of it. You can embrace it all, knowing that it was all there for you, and it makes the future steps easier because you're not in resistance. You're not clogging up. You're not creating more trauma or more stories or more things to unravel. You're able to flow with it, so the energy can move really quickly because you've done that work inside of yourself. And so what I'm feeling from this is fast movement. The Knight of Wands is a card of fast movement. It's also like unstoppable. Like whatever's happening, like you can't stop it. It's just coming, and it's coming fast. And even the way this is a Slavic deck, but it looks very Native American to me. That almost looks like a big headdress, where it's like, again, the Hermit. Like the eagle card in a way. Like this is a pinnacle. Like you've gone in. You've gone in within yourself. You've dropped the world. You're not gauging your worth, on anything external, or if you are at times, you have enough of this that you can work with that. You can remind yourself, and there's sort of like a badge of honor in that, where it's like you've reached a certain level. You're awarded that eagle feather because you earned it, and now you're going to experience life differently. You're going to experience life differently because you're different. So again, that's what I was talking about. The energetic signature is different. You've received more of yourself. You have access to more of yourself because you've went into yourself and you found it, right? So that's really beautiful. All right, let's see what else. There's a lot of cards coming out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take these because there is a bit of a repeat. Here's the Hermit again, really driving the point home. It's like we have gone into our caves. And that's also the energy that I was talking about, where I wasn't communing with anybody really. I mean, I was still doing readings and sessions and stuff like that, but that's not about me, that's about them, but in terms of like really communicating and sharing and putting things together with other people, it was a time to really be within. Okay. And then it comes out with the death card. So there's that rebirth, it was, the other thing that's coming up in all the sessions, so often I'll see a new theme, I'll see a new image. And when it first happens, I don't really understand it, but I'm like, okay, here's this new pattern. And then it's like each person, it's almost like we're creating, we're unpacking it together. Like each person I see a little bit more, there will be synchronicities where I understand it a little bit more and a little bit more, and so this new pattern that I finally understand now. So it's a galactic energy. There's a galactic energy, and usually I feel Arcturian energy when it comes to the galactic assistants. I think they're just really good at that, but it's a wrapping of the entire left side of the body. And, it's almost like a cocooning, but, it's like this feeling of like wanting to go home, like almost like your galactic family or your higher frequency selves are holding you a little bit. Like they're like, hey, come home for a little bit, come home for a little bit. Let me hold you. It's like the Four of Swords. That's what my last client brought up as an analogy. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, that helps me decode this. It's like, you're resting, you're recuperating because you've gone through, this, right? And you're in this Vesica Pisces and you're about to do this, but you're resting and you're recuperating and you're going home a little bit to just kind of like, heal those wounds the rest of the way, like rest a little bit. But it's also like I was drawing the analogy before I really understood of like the chrysalis, you're in the cocoon. You're in the cocoon, and the next phase is the butterfly, and that's the transformation. The death card is a transformation. This is interesting because it's a raven, and ravens represent what I was saying earlier. You've earned the right to more magic. You've earned the right. So more of the truth of reality is opening up to you. But what does that mean? More of yourself. More of yourself. You get more of yourself, and more of that self is more unified with all. And so you've earned the right. You've earned the right of that because you've gone within. And again, that's happening quickly. And so then the Queen of Pentacles is a card. She's the master of the physical realm. So she is a master of the physical realm, and she understands how to anchor things down. So this is what I was saying about the earth and being called to anchor onto the earth with my sisters and I. And even like one of my friends, I went over to her a friend isn't the right word. It's almost like I don't have friends. I have like soul tribe, you know, people that like we weave consciousness together, and we're just like we're here for this mission, we're here for this shift, and we're just like working together, but we're also playing, you know, because we live in play, right? So anyway, it felt like blasphemous to just call her friend. But anyway, my like deep, I've known her for eons person. She was like clearing stuff out of her house, you know, like just refreshing the energy, and again, like on all the levels that we're clearing stuff out. But I noticed that what she was clearing out was you know, whatever she was clearing out, but what she was bringing in was nature. It was all nature. So there it was again. It was like, you know, like she had a photo that somebody in town took of lightning. He goes out and he chases lightning, and you know, he's an artist, and so he prints them and stuff like that. So this gorgeous bolt of lightning, you know, coming down, and then, you know, like just nature photos, you know, even on her screensaver she had nature, you know, she had from her travels, and you know, and all this, like the codes of nature. And so just like I feel like nature and I, like Gaia, you know, we're like holding hands, where we're like making a move, and we're like, okay. So something that came up for me, I had this horrible habit of having my phone in my bedroom. I used to have it out of my bedroom, but I turned my heat off at night, and I just use like space heaters in the bedroom, just to like save or whatever. It just like seems ridiculous to heat the whole house, and so that's what I do. And my phone was getting so cold that it like wasn't charging, and it was, you know, just, and I had to like warm it up in the morning, so I just brought it in my bedroom to like keep it warm, you know. But then I got in this habit of I went through this phase where I wasn't sleeping well, so I'd be on my phone at night, you know, and then like first thing in the morning, I've always been a really deep sleeper, and I'm not a morning person. It's not that I'm not a morning person, it's just, it's hard to come back, you know, it's hard to come back, and so it takes me a long time to get out of bed. I'm really slow, and I don't want anybody talking to me and stuff like that. And so I got in this horrible habit of getting on my phone, and I'm reading inspirational memes, and I'm posting inspirational memes, and I'm catching up on, you know, things with people, and it's all like really like high vibe, awesome stuff. But it's fucking technology. It's like I'm grounding myself into the day through technology, you know. And I was just like, no mas. It was just like this week where, and it's always September. It's Virgo season that I always come up with healthier habits. Like I started doing my smoothie, like my detox smoothie in the morning in September, you know. And so like every good habit, working out, you know, like exercising, you know, strengthening all that, everything comes in September. So this year it was that where, and so instead of, you know, waking myself, because it wakes me up, I can barely open my eyes, you know. What am I waking up to? The blue screen, the like false light that scrambles our brain, you know. So I get up and I go outside, you know. I have this whole east area. It's just a small little area, and it's like kind of right on, it's not a main road, but it's a road where people leave to go out of town, so there's a lot of people, and I was always just kind of like, nah, you know. And now I'm like, I don't care. I cleaned it all up, and I decorated it, and I have chairs out there, and I sit out there. That's where, because my trees are out here. I have 4 trees out here. And so I started going out in the morning, and I put my feet on the earth, and I don't know what I'm going to do in the winter, but I'll just go out. I'll just bundle up. But I put my feet on the earth, and I sun gaze. I love to sun gaze, and I do that when I'm in the desert house, but it's been kind of hard here, so I haven't, because I have trees and hills and stuff like that in town. But anyway, I'm making that a priority, and I sun gaze. I have to like stand up and lean over the trees, and then I gotta go over here, and you know, but I've been doing that every morning, feet on the earth, you know, and my cat's with me, some of my cats, and yeah, so, you know, and it was like I'm grounding myself into the day with the earth and with the sun and with the natural, organic truth of reality. So again, this kind of energy where it's like, you know, we're anchoring ourselves, we're choosing the organic timeline, we're choosing what's true and natural. You know, we're allowing not only the distortions in ourselves, all this stuff, but the distortions in our world, the things that kick us off into imbalance. They kick us into imbalance. I don't feel good when I'm on my phone in the morning. You know, it makes me feel weird. I stay in bed too long. It takes me out of, you know, I'm less grounded, right? And it's like just the exact opposite of what we need to be doing right now. So I feel the earth calling really, really loud and clear of like, hey, you know, so if you are struggling, you know, like, just feet on the earth, even a little bit in the day, you know, yeah, and just really connecting with the waters and the crystals and all that. And you know, especially right now, because we are grounding. We're also grounding. We're anchoring the energies, because, you know, humans are the most advanced technology in all of the cosmos. So it's like, you know, we have that. And as we're awakening to that light within us, you know, we're turning it on. We're turning on our technology. So it's like hooking it up with the earth technology by being grounded to the earth, so that circuitry can flow through us. And it creates a circuitry and a magnetic field that just enhances her and enhances us. It's like part of how, so a lot of the pyramids I've been really into, the earth grid and the ley lines and the monoliths and the pyramids the last like year and a half or however long, and now I'm working with some people that are involved in that, and the Bosnian pyramid in particular. But anyway, so we're I lost my train of thought. Hold on, let me get it back. Yeah, and how, those things are inverted. They've been covered up, and they've been, lied about, and said, things about them that aren't true, right? And so as we connect with ourselves and our own energy centers and our own chakra systems and the ley lines of our bodies, right? And coming into this true relationship with ourselves, when we connect with the earth, it's part of how we also activate those the power centers, the chakras on the earth, the pyramids, the transmitters of the energy that's harmonious and that helps us to heal and keeps us in balance, rather than the technology which lowers our vibration, which knocks us out of balance, which is harmful and makes it harder for us to move forward out of this energy. It keeps us in this energy. It's like we got to tip the scales so we get into that Vesica Pisces, so that we can, this part. And I feel that those of you that are watching this reading are already in this space, But again, to put our thoughts on it together, and to acknowledge that when we do this within ourselves, and the direction right now to be grounding into the earth, what's coming through for me right now, and recently, because I've been connecting with people that have worked, for 20 years with the pyramids and the earth grids, I'm realizing that when we connect with the earth in an activated state, we're helping to activate her as well, because we're a fractal of her, and her activating is helping us. It's this co-creation, and it's almost like it feels imperative right now, not in like a danger zone way, because again, be peace. We've already reached this level. It's just playing out, but it's part of what's playing out. It's part of how the natural or organic truth of reality, which is harmonious frequency and energy that we are a part of, that we emit as the technology of human beings in our bodies, and that the earth also emits, and the web of life that is sustaining and positive, where we're moving into health. Your genetics, your family history, like it's like those are based on patterns of thought and self-abandonment and victim consciousness and resentment. That's what disease is. It's distortions in your energy field that don't allow things to flow in the way that they need to, And so yeah, I'm talking about a lot of things at once, but it's all just different angles, different fractals of the same thing. When the ley lines and the pyramids that amplify, and the monoliths and the energy grid on this planet is allowed to flow freely, it creates an atmosphere that is healing for us. And so same thing that we can do in our individual lives, where we eat clean food and clean water, and spend time in nature and exercise and keep the energy moving, and do energy work or tap into your intuition, and clear those mental blocks and those emotional, keep it moving. The natural state of existence on this planet, outside of all of this stuff, is one that is beneficial and benevolent and helpful. And so a lot of what we've experienced in this part of the journey, again, is falling away, and that includes health issues, that includes through your lineage, the patterns, and clearing back. And so just like, wow, so much going on right now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. I love everything that is coming through. So, all right, I'm at 28 minutes, but I'm going to keep going. See what else might want to be said. Oh yeah, the alchemist, exactly. So there's the magician. The magician knows how to wield, knows how to work in this realm. It works with the air, it works with the sky, it works with the earth, it works with fire, it works with water, it works with ether. It can put them all together, where no part is left unexplored, because again, when the energy flows, there's a natural balance to this realm, where the elements are in balance. When you're in balance, the elements are in balance, and they're at your disposal. They're at your disposal to create and to use, to focus, to clear things, to heal yourself or each other, to create, to manifest, to collaborate, whatever. So that's just a really great summary of everything that I was talking about, where all the pieces can come together in their natural state and the natural balance when they're it's not just when they're left alone, because if you leave things alone when there's still conditioning and trauma, then the trauma loops are going to dominate. But when you are clear and you are in that alignment, then you can just let things flow, and there is a natural balance and harmony that you're going to come into. It's the way to live in harmony with the earth and with this realm and with yourself, and that's intended. That's part of the natural law. It's been covered up, it's been distorted. We've been running our trauma loops, this and that, but it's unraveling, and this is what's underneath it. So again, that message of be peace, because there is an order. There's an order behind. And when we clear all that stuff, what has been behind, again, waiting in the field or in the sessions, waiting in the field, waiting to come in, can come in, can come in, because it's true and it's real. It's geometry. It's the geometry of this realm. And when we make room for it, we merge with it. So there it is again, where it's out here, but now we're merged with it and we're living from it, and we're living from it intuitively, because we're lined up. And what are we lined up with? The truth of reality, the truth of the way things work. And then we're helping to create more and more of that through the webs with the other people, like my sisters, my soul sisters. When we connect, we're like, hey, I just got another level of this, I just got more of myself, and then we put it together, where two or more gather, and we expand it, and then we anchor it, and we make it more accessible for others. Like I was talking about the others that haven't quite gotten to this be peace message yet, because they still have to do their trials, they still have to do this, it's like we're anchoring. It's going to be easier for them. They're not going to have to do it the way we did, it's going to be easier. And we chose it like that. They chose it like that. We all chose it. That's our soul choice. They wanted the experience of having this like divine assistance. We wanted the experience of like crawling through hell, and finding that spark within. We're all having the experience that we want. So there's no like behind or ahead of or better, anything like that. It's just whatever we need in our soul journey to come into our balance where we can access this in the best way for our highest and best. And so, okay. See what else. Oh, yeah, beautiful. So, okay, the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is the card, comes after the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is like, you have everything that you need. It's like squirrel medicine. And again, it's the 9, the number 9, where it's like, you're almost there, right? But this is showing again, the Ten of Pentacles is like, it's the happy family. You have everything that you need. You even have your own personal wizard. Look at him over there, helping out your kids, got your major tree. Although those two look really kind of sad and mopey, but maybe they're just at peace, But anyway, these two cards, I'm just being chatty and silly, but yeah, these two cards together, it's like this is absolutely what we're moving into. So another message of peace. So I feel like it's starting to repeat itself now. So I think I'm going to wrap up, and I will pull a few closing messages. It might take us in another direction. It might be like, hold on, a couple more things to say here. Let's see here. So I'm going to do a goddess card. We are getting this card so much. I think we got it in the last reading. I got it in several of the personal readings. Wow. So focus. And again, it's a number 4 card, which I keep reading as stability, stabilization, which makes me feel about this anchoring again. But again, focusing on the big picture, focusing on what this is all about. Let me clarify that. See if there's anything else that wants to be said about that. Coming out as one of the last messages. Is it just focusing on the bigger picture, or okay. So yeah, interesting. So the 6 of Pentacles, and that is the card of reward in a way. We were talking about this. This came up in a couple of readings, but it's like, what you put in is what you get out. So it's like you did all this, and now you're at this place where you're receiving what's coming in from over here, right? You're receiving more of yourself. Again, that raven medicine, and like I was saying about the sessions, right? It's coming in, those higher aspects, you're receiving it, and it's rightful. It's rightful. It's just what follows. When you do the work and you clear enough, then you get more. It's just how it goes. And that's that message of be peace, because it's like, it's just how it works. It's how energy works. So don't worry about it. Yeah, it was a lot of trials over and over and over again, but that was to get you to this point that you're at now, and you're at this point now. So now you get to receive. And so, what's interesting is it comes out with the High Priestess. So at first I thought this was the Ace of Pentacles, which was clarifying, like, oh, we're on a new path now. We're receiving our new path. But what it's indicating is that what we're receiving, yes, we're receiving a new path as well. But what we're really receiving is more of ourselves, our High Priestess, our higher knowing. That which is necessary to come in at this time for the next steps in our journey. And so, yeah, it's interesting because, we have all these experiences throughout our timelines, throughout our soul journey. And we, in this incarnation, we come in with a certain packet of with certain like codes, let's just say, activated. You know, like maybe we have like these. You know, we have like however many we have of them, like 100 or 1,000, and it's like choosing your character in a D&D game. You know, where you're like, okay, because for me, I have really strong Syrian energy in this incarnation. I know I have, you know, all the other galactics as well. I can feel them, but that's the one that's the strongest for me. There's a lot of like divine feminine energy for me. I have a lot of Fae, you know, the Garthian energy, and I have like dragon stuff too, you know, and everything. So, you know, there's just certain things that are really prominent in our lives, but at certain points, there's more that opens up. So this is another way of explaining the this, or, you know, the raven, the more that comes in. And I've been trying to explain this in sessions too, and just finding the right words for different people, because everybody has like a different language, you know. So I think I'm going to talk about it in this reading, you know, and just flesh it out. Well, we have a lot, because I always feel the consciousness. Like one time I did a reading and it wasn't recording, and it was so weird because the whole time I was talking, which was only like 5 minutes, I felt like I was talking to the air, because nobody was recording. So it's like, it's so interesting, because, and even like I did a personal reading the other day, and I really felt to do one more card at the end. I'm like, I just feel like there's one more message. And then, so I pulled it, and she told me that she was like, while she was watching, she was like, oh my gosh, I just need like one more clarification on this one thing, like just pull one more card, you know. She's saying that in her head, and I did. So it's like, there's no time space. Like I heard her, you know, I heard her in the future, and I pulled this card, and so it's like, I feel the energies, you know, I feel the energy. So anyway, that's just kind of a tangent, but just to talk about this, while there's a lot of consciousness and energy, and people that I know will understand me, right? So anyway, we have our certain like character that we're playing in this lifetime, but at a certain point, we're receiving more of ourselves. So we're receiving like codes that we've carried, that we have in our soul journey. We have access to them, but they haven't really been activated yet. Or if they have, we haven't really been living them. Maybe we've been like, maybe we see it in people that we admire. We're like, oh my gosh, you know, I really love that. Or, you know, like a certain like, you know, like style of art or music or whatever, and it just like really excites us. You know, it's like we can kind of feel like what our like our codes are that we might not be living, but they excite us, you know, because they are a part of us, you know. And then there's a time like now where these things start to come in, you know, where we're receiving more of ourselves. We're like, what does that actually mean? It's like all of a sudden we start living things. Like maybe we're always drawn to African culture or whatever, and then an African dance class comes to your town, and you do it, and all of a sudden you're embodying it, and you're living it, and it's moving through you, and you know, it's like it's more embodied, you know, just as an example. But yeah, the code. So I was talking with a friend of mine, and we friend, there it is again. Yeah, so but we both have this thing where we're too nice, and so it was just funny because, you know, another woman that I pair up with, she's working on being nicer, and I'm working on being meaner, you know. So we're like this nice balance for each other. But I just, you know, I just have to not be so nice, and I've been really working on that, you know, and just having boundaries, and just, you know, I don't have to do something I don't want to do just because somebody else wants to do it, you know, just like risking hurting their feelings or risking whatever, and, you know, just taking care of myself. You know, there's only so much time in life and all these things. And so, or whatever it is. And so her and I are both working on that, this woman. And so she said, it's kind of cool. She's like, it's like receiving a different archetype of myself. You know, like the Callie or the Sekhmet, or, you know, the bitch or the witch. Or my daughter would always say to me, she's like, Mama, you have like your fairy, you know, like cherub, you know, like angelic, playful self, but you also have, this was a couple of years ago, you also have this like witch, bitch, biker, you know, and then like hawk, yeah, she's a hawk which is funny because right around that time I got this hawk feather like tattooed on me, and it wasn't like I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to embody this aspect of myself. But when I got this tattoo, it's like it didn't match me. Like I still don't really like it that much, but it just didn't match me. I had to grow into it. Well, what I was growing into was that hawk aspect, the hawk biker bitch witch, you know, that kind of thing, where it's like I had to learn how to like. And now that she's living with me, I have to like speak up and like tell men like, please stop staring at her, she's 17, you know, or whatever. Like I have to have like, and I have to have better boundaries with her too, because man, she'll walk all over me, you know. But anyway, it was an aspect of myself that I literally didn't even know was tattooing on as like a totem that I had to grow into in order to be balanced and in order to do the next step of my journey, you know. So they're like aspects of ourselves that aren't quite integrated activated yet that like pop on and come in for the next phase of our journey. So we are moving on to the next phase of our journeys. We're moving on quickly. We're moving on from our centers, you know, and again, the energy is able to flow in a way where what is needed can come in. Okay, so again, that message of, you know, whatever it is, just that as an example, and there are lots of other examples too, you know, like whether you're, you know, like the other woman, you know, maybe she's embodying her Mother Mary, you know, she's embodying the Mother Mary archetype within herself, you know, she's activating it and she's cultivating it, she's practicing it. And we can use the gods and goddesses and archangels and you know, as a focus of intention. Okay, because I was clarifying this card. All right, here we go, because this is the thing I was going to talk about earlier, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Now it's coming back around as a focus of our intention, you know, and that's where the Ascended Masters come in, and, you know, these gods and goddesses, because it's like, hey, we were humans too, we know how to do this, so, you know, we can focus our attention on these archetypes, on these beings, on these energy packets. They have an energy signature intact that holds the energy of what is being asked to download from us, but it's really us. We are those things too, we just haven't activated it yet, so we can activate them by focusing on different, like, gods or goddesses or things that are embodying the thing that we're drawn to, Why are we drawn to them? Just like we're drawn to different people. We're drawn to them because they have a piece for us. They are us, we are them, but it's a piece that we're learning, you know, and just to be clear that, like, we're not, like, worshiping them, we're not, like, you know, I mean, if we are building shrines or anything like that, it's really a shrine to that higher version of ourselves that we're calling through. We're calling through ourselves, and it feels important to say that right now, because as we're coming more into unification, you know, unification with the earth, unification with our bodies, unification with ourselves and each other's, you know, it's like that thing of things being outside of ourselves is kind of collapsing, where, you know, and just to realize, like, it's absolutely fine to focus on and connect, and I do it too. Like, every time before I start a reading, I call in Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and Isis, because it's that blue rose lineage, and I feel the frequency. It's my frequency, but I use them as a focal point to conjure it in my field. But I'm very aware that it's me. It's my energy that I'm calling. I'm not like, save me, external thing. It's like, no, we're claiming our power. You know, this is a time of sovereignty. It's the time of going within and finding it all within. So that kind of felt important to say. It did pop in my mind, and it came up again with that thing of focus, a focal point of our attention to merge with and immerse ourselves in an intact energy signature that holds the things that we're receiving, but to realize that we're really receiving what we have earned in other lifetimes, in other timelines, in other whatever. It's us. We've done this. We've lived it. We're activating things, and you know, we don't choose to come in fully activated. Imagine like a little baby that's fully activated. What's that life going to be like? We choose the configuration of codes and things, you know, that we need for our soul mission, what we need to awaken. You know, we need the crunches. If we had it all activated, first of all, we couldn't even be on this planet because it's too dense. But you know, we need certain things set up so that we have enough blind spots to get the crunches to awaken. The point is that we're not awakened, right? So we set it up. We have a certain configuration of our codes from all that we are, you know, to get us to the point where we awaken, where we can bring them all in, right, and acknowledge them all as us, because all is all is all. Okay, so that's beautiful. I'm going to do one closing message. Are there any decks I didn't use? I didn't use this one. Okay. This is an oracle deck. It's kind of a weird, I always call it my weird deck, because it's just kind of weird, but I like it. Okay, let's see what we get here. Harmony. Oh yeah, beautiful. Oh, harmony and mystery. That's right. Harmonization with the mystery. You know, there is, see, aren't they pretty? They're like, you know, they're just sort of like shapes, and you know, there's not a whole lot of imagery, but there is an energy to them, and that's what I like. There's an energy to them. And so anyway, and similar shapes here too with the sphere. It's funny, when I sun gaze, usually when I sun gaze, I just see magenta around, but lately I've been seeing all the colors of the rainbow around it, and it's just like this huge sphere like this, and I do feel that in my third eye. You know, I feel that activation, you know, or that communion, or that merging, that union with the sun and the solar energy and the plasma and everything that comes through it, you know, the mystery, you know, the mystery that comes through. And so that's a similar thing. It's coming through these discs. Yeah, it's an interesting card. Yeah, curious. Always feel free to comment if you ever like get a hit, or you know, like you have a download. Like, feel free to share. Like, I love the community. You know, feel free to comment, because there's synchronicities. You know, it's just fun. It just generates energy. It weaves things together. It grounds it down. You know, I love that. People haven't been doing that as much, but I always welcome it. And so, yeah. Anyway, something in this card. You know, and it also kind of reminds me of the magician energy here, where it's like you're using, because he has the cup, he has the pentacle, whoops, the cup, the pentacle, the sword. I'm sure there's fire here somewhere, but I can't find it. And, you know, so he has all the elements, so it's kind of like this. These are similar, but like this one is more like air, smoke. This would be like water. This is like the solar, you know, the fire, and, you know, but grounding it down onto the earth. So anyway, just getting into the imagery there. So many messages, you know, you can get off, you can just go in and unpack for hours. But yeah, but the harmony and the mystery. So again, talking about that, you know, with the earth grids and the pyramids. So look, here's pyramid shapes as well. The pyramids and the activation. Oh, and the top of the pyramids where they're transmitters, you know, and the transmitters, and there's that, you know, the galactic energy. You know, we're leaning into the higher frequencies through these monoliths and through these pyramids, and you know, amplifying them and weaving them like a web, a net of protection and healing and harmonization on this planet. But, you know, it is a mystery. You know, it's like our human selves can't grasp, can't quite fathom the vastness of it, and yet we can allow it, we can harmonize with it and allow it to move us. And so another message of focusing on that which is behind, that which is there, that which has been covered up, and knowing that when we attune to that, we like I was saying here, you know, it's automatic that we work with things in a balanced way. When you're in harmony and you're in alignment and you're attuned to the mystery works through you. You know, it would be like scarab beetle, which is, you know, another symbol of transformation and death and rebirth. The magic works through you when you are a portal and a vessel for these higher energies, which we're coming, that's the point that we're coming up on, because again, we have done the clearings, we're at that Vesica Pisces, we're moving into this, which involves receiving more of ourselves. So, all right, I think I'm going to end there. Over 45 minutes, that's probably too long. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching and for joining in consciousness with me as we anchor down this energy by understanding each other and being on that same brain wave, and and just acknowledging it in consciousness and living it through the heart opening of embracing this download. Look, see, there's her third eye. You know, it's like, it's the one mind, it's the truth of reality. And, you know, just filter through my words and my way of doing it. But, you know, we all kind of come, you know, in the inner space, we all kind of come to the same kind of messages, or the same kind of feelings, you know, and putting it together where two or more gather. So anyway, thank you so much, and I will see you next time if I do. All right, much love. Bye-bye.